Republicans are being weird again because days out from an election, mind you, that Republicans are losing women at a historic rate in, Republicans have decided to pick a new battle. Attacking women who do not vote the same as their husbands and saying that they're betraying them? Yes, this is the argument that MAGA is making to close out this race, and it is absolutely absurd and being made by some of the strangest and most annoying characters in MAGA, the Tucker Carlsons, the Charlie Kirks, and of course, the Jesse Waters, who said something on Fox on this topic that has completely screwed him in the worst way, and we are going to get into that all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now, like I said, there are lots of MAGA Republicans talking about wives who don't vote the same as their husbands who vote for Kamala Harris or betraying them. It's so strange, but before we get to Jesse, we need some context with what Charlie Kirk said.
And she needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband, who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, you know, and have a nice life and provide for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling.
These people are just ridiculous, and it shows the strange idea that they have of women in relationships and the freedoms that they should, or I guess should not have, to make their own decisions, both about their bodies and politically. Charlie Kirk is just so strange in the case that he's trying to make here. It's really difficult to understand, but like I said, Jesse Waters continued to talk about this, and so before we get into the moment that he had on the 5 that is really screwing him over, I want to take a look at a moment from his show last night, which reveals why he is so upset because of one specific Democratic ad that just got put out.
We're 6 days out from Election Day, and Democrats find themselves in the same position they were in before the Biden coup. They have an embarrassing candidate who can't get it together. Not a book plug, but could be. Still available on Amazon. They kick Joe to the curb for someone younger, more energetic, a little less clumsy. But in this final stretch, Kamala's acting like Joe 2.0. She's tripping, bumping, yawning. She's a mess. Look what happened when she sat for a local TV interview.
Madam Vice President, good to see you again.
How have you been?
I'm well. How are you? Thank you for giving us a couple minutes. Are you ready? Yes, you ready?
Yes.
She wasn't ready. The Obama-mandated media blitz not really working out. She's pooped. She can barely keep her eyes open. She's just like Sleepy Joe. I mean, I guess she said she wouldn't change a thing. I know why she's tired, bombing interviews, cleaning up Joe's mess. It's exhausting. But you got to keep it to yourself. If they ever caught Trump yawning, good night. Hollywood sees the writing on the wall. People don't want to publicly support Kamala, so they have a new plan. Have Julia Roberts tell women to secretly vote for Kamala and then lie to their husbands about it.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose. You can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls.
But don't worry, guys. The ultimate white dudes for Harris, George Clooney, has a message for you, too.
Come on, boys. Let's make America great again.
Remember, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Do your patriotic duty.
You bet I did, brother.
So that ad that Jesse played at the end of that clip was from Julia Roberts, who I really enjoyed that ad. I thought it was kind of light. I thought it was fun. You have the opportunity to make your own decision. I thought it was great. Jesse had a little bit different of a take, as you could see him and Charlie Kirk so upset, saying that women are betraying their husbands if they vote for Kamala Harris. It's incredibly weird. Jesse decided to take it one step further, and in doing so, really screwed himself. So we're going to check out the clip, and then we'll see why.
And if I found out Emma was going into the voting booth and pulling the lever for Harris, that's the same thing as having an affair. That, to me...
Oh, my God. Let him finish. Go, Jesse. It's our day.
That violates the sanctity of our marriage.
Preach on, yes.
What else is she keeping from me?
Exactly.
What else has she been lying about?
Why would she lie to you? Have you threatened her? Why would she lie to you?
Oh, they want me to tease.
Why would she do that and then vote Harris? Why would she say she was voting Trump and then voting Harris? And I caught her. So and then she said, I lied to you for the last 4 years.
So you admit you intimidate
It's over, Emma. That would be D-Day.
So Jesse didn't really choose his words carefully there. I think I can kind of see him regret saying the word affair. He kind of tries to walk that back and then just says it would be over instead of just saying an affair. And I think there's a reason why. I did a little bit of digging on Jesse Waters, and it turns out that voting in conflict with his partner is not the only example of when we see a lack of faith from Jesse Waters. So let's get into that. In the personal life section of Wikipedia for Jesse Waters, it reads, Waters is registered to vote as a member of the Conservative Party of New York State. He was married to his first wife in 2009, and they have twin daughters, though his wife filed for divorce in 2018 after Waters admitted to an affair with a producer on his show. Waters claimed to have begun dating the producer by letting the air out of her vehicle's tires so she would ask him for a ride. Why on earth would you, one, do that, the affair, and then the tires? What type of psychopath is Jesse Waters? We watch him every day. We know he's bad, but oh my gosh. And then to go on to bring that up on air, the fact that you had an affair already. What is Jesse Waters doing? MAGA isn't just weird. They are self-destructive. This is a complete mess. I cannot believe these are the people who think they should be in charge. These are the people who want to be in charge of the decisions women make for themselves. Absolute crazy stuff. And it's the reason Kamala Harris is calling out that rhetoric in this clip right here.
And Donald Trump's not done. Did anybody hear what he had to say just yesterday? And I'll tell you, it was outrageous. So he said, on the issue of freedom of choice, reproductive freedom, he said that he will do what he wants because, quote, this is his perspective, he will do it whether the women like it or not. Whether the women like it or not. Can you imagine? And this is not the first time he has told us. He does not believe women should have authority or agency over their own bodies.
Kamala Harris just so absolutely spot on right there. But of course, we cannot listen to Jesse Waters talk without hearing from Jessica Tarlov. And she called out this same strange rhetoric from Republicans in this clip right here.
And potentially the next president of the United States. But they also made a calculated decision that the Joe Rogan listener base wasn't worth it to them to go out of their way to do this. She has a jam-packed schedule. And I get it. It was incredibly important for Trump to go. It was important for Vance to go. They're relying on those kinds of voters. But it is interesting to your point, Kennedy, about people being smart enough to split on this, et cetera. You know, last night, Trump with this quote, like, I'm going to do things to women, quote, whether they like it or not. Nikki Haley's interview.
That was taken out of context.
Okay.
He was talking about crime and illegal immigration.
Nikki Haley came on with Bret Baier, and she said this messaging is not good for women. This bro-tastic messaging will not stand, and said, I hadn't realized this, that he hadn't contacted her since June. She has said, I am here. I'm available to campaign with you.
That's a different point than...
I really wish Jessica had been on that episode of The Five to call out the fact that, hey, Jesse, you might have actually had an affair, so I don't think voting for Kamala Harris is the greatest betrayal in a relationship that could ever happen in your life, considering, you know, your whole ordeal. But Jesse's weird defense, or I guess argument, wasn't the only example of Republicans being weird on this issue, because when Byron Donalds was played the audio of Donald Trump's remarks saying that he will do whatever he wants for women, whether they like it or not, which is incredibly weird and scary, his response was this.
And so Donald Trump is going to protect women in our country.
He's going to protect children in our country. Under Kamala
whether
Harris,
they like it or
we
not?
have lost 350,000 children in the United States. We've
Why
lost
say
them, John.
why say
Talk
whether
about
the
that.
women will like it or not? Why say whether the women will like it or not?
What I will tell you is that once again, if you're going to clip 5 seconds out of an hour speech and not provide context, this is why the American people, frankly, are frustrated with media, because you guys play games, you take things out of context, you don't explain them clearly, and you want to get caught up in semantics. The heart of what Donald Trump said very clearly is he's going to protect the women of our country, because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have refused to protect the women of our country, and that's a president should protect women and protect all Americans.
Congressman,
and that's
here's a
what he's
longer
gonna do.
clip. Here's a longer clip of him, which leads up to him saying that he, despite what the advisors say he's going to protect the women whether they like it or not. Listen.
4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. So why? They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. Pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Congressman?
And you know what happened after that was made? The women in Green Bay, Wisconsin, they stood on their feet and they cheered loudly, because they want a president of the United States who's going to follow the law, who's actually going to enforce our borders. It's going
Truly one of the more dishonest Trump stooges. Of course, they're all bad, but Byron Donalds, with just the smugness, I can't stand it. Gosh, we have to make sure that he is not in that MAGA majority in the House. We have to make sure that we are holding that gavel, that it is Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. And that is what we're going to be talking about every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.